there.
Hi, sorry we're late. It's 12:03. We had a few internet problems, but I'm Matt Taranto, and this is
Kathy Taranto.
same last name. We're related, and today we're here to talk to you about body stuff. We're all closed and locked in. We thought this would be a good time to do some Facebook and Instagram live stuff, and just kind of do some continuing education about the field of aesthetics and the things we do here at Aesthetic Care. So we got three things that we're going to talk to you about. Really fun stuff. CoolSculpting, Emsculpt and Emsella. And so we're going to start with CoolSculpting, and fat treatments, non-surgical fat treatments have been out for a long time. I mean, what else
Yeah.
before CoolSculpting? Kind of what was there?
Well, I worked with a number of different technologies over the last, decade, probably. I mean, you too, obviously.
You've been in this for like 8 decades.
At
Yes,
least,
that's
at
right.
least. Well, then you've been in it for like 20. So, over the last 10 years, we've used a number of different treatments for body sculpting, for tightening, primarily for volume reduction, not necessarily muscle building, which we're able to do now.
Mhm.
And I would say, there have been at least 6 different devices that I've used personally to try to get rid of fat. And other than CoolSculpting, they all used heat, some form of heat to heat a fat cell. And the whole purpose was to heat it so much that you caused apoptosis, which is just a fancy word for the death of the fat cell.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, common ones are use a technology called radio frequency. And so radio frequency is an energy that's delivered topically. Usually the technician is putting this handpiece in motion and just slowly heating the epidermis to a certain temperature in hopes that it kills the fat cell. And when we first bought into these technologies, we were all excited because you would measure before the treatment and then you would measure after the treatment, and it would show this reduction of 1 inch or 2 inches. And so, we thought, oh, wow, this is really going to work. And so we bought into technology, this technology, $90,000 piece of equipment. And, 7 to 8 years ago, I was also distributing equipment. So I was selling this technology into other clinics. And it's a big chunk of money to spend on a piece of technology. And 3 to 4 months later, I'm getting this feedback from clients. I'm getting feedback from doctors I sold the equipment to that, hey, the fat's just coming back. So yeah, they lost that inch, but a weekend goes by with some wine drinking and maybe some, a Napa weekend, eating cheese and bread and that type of a thing. And they felt like that inch just came right back. And so that was really disappointing because we felt like, wow, we're so excited. We're going to be able to treat fat. And it just didn't work. And so those are technologies that are still being sold today. They're still in many clinics across the country and in Kansas City. And so when CoolSculpting came out, you and I had this conversation of like, should we get into another body device? They've all been so disappointing.
Yeah, so many had failed.
So many. And so it's like, are we really going to spend all this money on a technology that, do we believe in it yet? And so we held out on it for a little bit because of the experience with the fat devices in the past, and to make sure that we brought on a technology that really works. And so, when we started looking at CoolSculpting, like, what were some of the things that made you excited about it?
Well, the funny thing is like you were talking, in our industry, sadly, a lot of times marketing exceeds science. And this equipment comes out, and oh my God, they had this one person who did a great result, and all of a sudden that's what we're told to tell everybody. But at the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. It's got to show a long-term success. So, and sometimes there's a saying that we like. Sometimes it's better for the pioneers to take the arrows and the settlers to get the land. So when a device first comes out, usually there's some time where they're trying to get the protocols down straight, figure out exactly what is the best way to do this treatment. Like you said, the heat devices were so temporary, and it was frustrating. A good friend of mine, I remember when we had a device years ago that he was going on spring break, and he had 6 treatments. He lost 3.5 inches, and he was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And 3 weeks later it was back, because what we found was it's very easy to shrink a fat cell with heat. Right. It's very difficult to kill it.
Well, it's kind of like you take a sponge, it's all full of water, it dries up and it shrinks down, and then you introduce the water again and it pops right back.
So CoolSculpting, when it first came out, there were some issues. It's about 10 years ago, and it was uneven. They had some nerve issues because of the suction. So we held off for a while. But when we did get in, it had just become apparent. They had not only worked those issues out, but so many treatments had been done successfully. And we realized this is really the only non-surgical permanent solution to fat.
Well, I love all the research they did, all the money they spent to make sure that they could prove it to us so that we would then be able to share that information
Well,
with our
to date,
clients.
there have been over 100 IRB, which means Independent Review Board studies. That means real studies that are repeatable and they see the whole 9 yards. So this is, and after 10 years, believe me, as popular as it's been, there's been over 8 million treatments done worldwide. If it was snake oil, it'd be gone by now.
Right.
And so, we're very proud of a few things with CoolSculpting. We got on and we did, I believe, a very good job with the marketing. And the first thing we did was all our staff got treated so we could be personal testimonials. And we are now the #1 CoolSculpting center in the 13-state Midwest region. And we're actually the 4th busiest CoolSculpting center in the entire country. So,
Go Team Aesthetic Care.
We're one of the only clinics in the country that has 4 systems. So we have 2 rooms with 2 systems each because we can get people in and out faster. We can treat 2 areas of fat at the same time. And what's really nice about CoolSculpting is they've refined the protocol. When we first got these systems, per zone was 1 hour, and there was significant suction pulled in the fat into the handpiece. And about 1/3 of the people were having some nerve stuff that would last for weeks, sometimes a couple months. It would always resolve, but it was more painful. But now with the new hand pieces, it's 35 minutes. There's less suction. We really are getting very few complications at all. And the results just are consistent.
So what's the worst part of the treatment now? Knowing that it's easier, what do you think?
I would tell you, because we like to be honest, I think the first 5 minutes. So what happens with CoolSculpting, for those of you who don't know, there's a big machine and it's got a tube with a handpiece on it. And we find an area of fat, we put that handpiece on the area of fat, and you press a button, and suction pulls that fat into the handpiece. And then it literally freezes that fat. Freezes to the point when that handpiece comes off, it looks like you have a frozen stick of butter in there, and it's firm. It is frozen. So I think the first 5 minutes, when it is freezing, is a little uncomfortable. It's just cold. But
it's
then
kind of like ice on the skin.
Yeah, then you go numb. Totally numb. You feel nothing. And then when it comes off, that 5 minutes after that, if you've ever had like really numb fingers and they come back to life and they tingle and stuff, I think that's about 5 minutes where it can be a little bit uncomfortable.
Well, one of the things I love that we do at Aesthetic Care is we use the Z-Wave post-treatment because part of the CoolSculpting protocol is for 3 minutes after the treatment to do a massage. And I mean, I've been to a number of different massage therapists, and they all have a slightly different technique and a different touch. And so we incorporated the Z-Wave. And
yeah, and what's nice, I think we're one of the only ones doing this, is this was developed by a plastic surgeon called Grant Stevens in LA, who owns more CoolSculpting systems than anybody in the world. I think they own 22 of them. And he incorporated the Z-Wave, which is an acoustic wave device that is used in physical therapy. It's a totally separate system. It's made in Germany by a company called Zimmer. And when you take that handpiece off, normally you do that 3-minute massage. Like you said, it's going to be uneven and stuff, but you're breaking up that frozen fat. We don't do that. We take the Z-Wave, and it sounds literally like a jackhammer. It's like, brrr, and it just sends these acoustic shock waves into the frozen fat, breaks them up, shatters them. But not only is it more uniform, it gives, on average, about a 20 to 25% better result than if you don't use the Z-Wave. And what's nice is when we added the Z-Wave, we thought, okay, it's an expensive device.
Yeah.
What should we charge for it? We decided we're not going to charge for it. We are going to charge the same price that CoolSculpting, the company, recommends, which most people charge, but we're going to give a more advanced protocol with results that are 20 to 25% better than if we didn't have the Z-Wave.
And one of the things I love is the Aesthetic Care guarantee.
Yes, and this is really nice. The biggest issue that we have in aesthetics is we're all unique human beings. So if I give 10 human beings the exact same treatment, we will always get 10 different results. And it doesn't mean the treatment was bad for somebody. They're just different. Just no different than if you take medication. Some people respond to it, some people don't. But we decided, listen, if you're going to spend this money, we are going to offer you a guarantee. And so as long as you stay within 3 pounds of the weight, because if you have this treatment and decide I'm going to go eat Twinkies for days and put on a lot of weight, we can't control that. But as long as you stay within 3 pounds, if after the 4 or 5 months when we test with photography, if we don't feel you have lost an acceptable amount of weight, it's usually about 20 to 25% per treatment, then we're going to retreat you at no charge.
Which I love that because I think it just gives us all confidence. It gives us confidence that we're going to be able to provide a treatment that our clients are going to love. It gives our clients confidence to know that they're going to spend, when they spend this amount of money, that, they are going to get a result.
And we focus so much on advanced training for our staff. So all of our staff that performs CoolSculpting has been to CoolSculpting University. You've been to CoolSculpting University. It's a 3-day program in Washington, D.C. or in San Francisco. But on top of that, we always want to learn from the best. So we did our research after that. We found out the busiest single CoolSculpting clinic in the world, which is Phoenix, Arizona, called Bodify. And we reached out to them and said, hey, we'd like to send our staff and learn from you. And it was very expensive. It was like $7,000 for the day plus travel. But we sent 5 of our staff down there to spend a full day, because if they're that good, why not learn from them? And
we went there as well.
That's right. I mean, really nice. 2 nurses on. They're wonderful people. But we're always trying to make sure that we have the latest protocols and our staff is well trained. Now, what's really neat about CoolSculpting also is these new handpieces we can treat virtually anywhere. There's a saying we love: if you can squeeze it, we can freeze it. And that includes the double chin, includes the backs of the arms, the abdomens, the flanks, the love handles, the back, kind of lower back fat area, inner and outer thighs, the saddlebags. We've even treated small areas of fat above the knee, or little areas. Some women have a little bra fat area in there they don't like. So we can treat big areas, we can treat small areas. Now, one of the questions we get a lot, well, how many treatments do I need? You know, it's different for everybody because our bodies are different, but what you can expect is about a 20 to 25, sometimes up to 30% fat loss per treatment per area. So let's say you treated a love handle. One treatment, you should lose between 20 and 30% of that fat. Then you treat that area again, you're going to lose an additional 20 to 30%. You can treat as often as you want. In fact, the woman who has done the most CoolSculpting systems of anybody, this is Grant Stevens, who I know, personally in LA. I was talking to him about that. This woman did 128 cycles.
Wow, I might need that after quarantine.
Yeah. Well, she spent enough money, she could have bought her own system. I know. Yeah. It's crazy. But it's turned out to be amazing. Like I said, this is not snake oil. We know it works well. There will be a few people here and there. We really tell people there's probably about 5 people who, for some reason, they do not get a result, which is a small percentage, but it's going to happen. We're going to be honest. If that doesn't happen, we're going to find a way to make you happy. We're not going to say, yeah, tough, you're one of that 5% and you wasted your money. We're not going to do that.
Right. So if, let's say, someone comes in and they really don't have a lot of fat, maybe it's just muscle, but they don't. They would like to build muscle, but it's just that one area. It's so tough. I mean, for a lot of women, it's the belly, post-baby belly. Yeah.
Well, up until recently, there was nothing. But it's really neat, this new device that came out from a company out of Czechoslovakia called BTL. And BTL has, it's a massive physical therapy company, and they develop all kinds of equipment. They got involved in aesthetics a number of years ago. Used to be active with BTL in Arizona. The Emsculpt is really amazing. It's a revolutionary piece of equipment that incorporates MRI-type technology, electromagnetic technology. And what it does, it initially came out, it was just for the abs and the glutes. And you have a machine, and then you have a big paddle that we strap onto your abs or to your glutes, and you turn it on, and it delivers this electromagnetic energy. And it causes these massive contractions of the muscle. And if you do a sit-up, they say a sit-up and crunches will work about 40% of the muscles in your abdominal core. The Emsculpt works 100% of the muscles, and it's involuntarily, you can't stop it. And so basically you lay there for 30 minutes as this energy is delivered, it's pulsating, and the clinical studies using MRIs, using CAT scans to see what happens to the muscles, one 30-minute session is the equivalent of 20,000 sit-ups.
It's amazing, right?
For your glutes, it'd be the equivalent of doing 20,000 lunges, which of course you could never do that fast. But it's not working a portion of the muscle, it's working all the muscle. And so what we're seeing of this is pretty amazing, because we recommend you do a series of 6 treatments, 2 a week for 3 weeks. We're seeing strengthening and definition, kind of developing that 6-pack look. But the strengthening of the core is so important, because our core is really where everything starts.
Right.
And so one thing that we're looking at now is, as people get older and they lose core strength, the risk of falling, can we strengthen that core to prevent that from happening? But man, we're seeing some fun stuff.
So with this and with CoolSculpting, will insurance cover any of it?
No, and to be honest, this is all elective. So no, it's cash out of pocket. It is considered, something that's a want. It's not a need.
Yeah.
But we have found that not only, now the studies for Emsculpt also did show fat loss. Showed it after 6 months, 19% of fat loss. We do believe that CoolSculpting is a more effective tool for fat, but a side effect that you might get for Emsculpt is fat loss. But by defining those abs, building and lifting the glutes, getting a more round shape, and being able to do that without the exercise is phenomenal. But it's a great adjunct to exercise. It's not like, oh yeah, never exercise again.
Right. So is it painful after? Like, what's the downtime?
You know,
for
it's people have asked that because they think, oh, well,
I
20,000
know it
sit-ups,
seems
you
like
must
you wouldn't
just
be
be
able to
dying.
move.
You know, it's a very different feeling. For me, I just feel tight. I don't feel pain. I feel like tight and firm. And it's really been, it's so different because we've never been able to do anything in this industry for muscle. And so it's added a kind of a new chapter of what we're able to approach.
I mean, I think what I experienced is that, when I could go work out at the gym, right now we can't do that, but at home, I would do a sit up and I would just feel stronger. It was just like, even within that first treatment, even though you don't see the result right away necessarily from one treatment, but you just feel stronger. And that was the first thing that I really noticed with Emsculpt.
Well, we have one of our better clients ever, and she's a great friend, is a personal trainer. And she does Emsculpt on her glutes and her hips on a regular basis. She went through a series, and now she does it once every 1 or 2 months. And she'll say everything about her workouts are better. And another woman that we have here is real into yoga, said literally after 2 treatments, her yoga poses were better. She was able to hold form better. So it's, it's something that we were one of the first in the Midwest to add that technology. And it's just turned out to be wonderful for us. The feedback we're getting from our clients is very good.
So how long will it last? I mean, we do these treatments. It's a series of treatments that we're doing. How often do I need to come in? And then how long does it last? So you mentioned the fitness instructor who's coming in kind of regularly. Like,
so what we recommend is we recommend you start with a series of 6, 2 a week for 3 weeks. And then depending on your age and things like that, not do another series, but do one treatment maybe every 2 or 3 months to maintain those results, because we are working muscle, and if you just ignore it, it is going to go back.
Right.
But what's interesting? It's starting to get a lot of talk in the press. Jennifer Lopez was doing it literally every day before the Super Bowl. Joel Embiid, who's one of the better basketball players in the NBA, is doing Steve Gronkowski, who is or Rob Gronkowski, who's one of the best tight ends in the history of football for the Patriots, is doing this. So it's getting caught on. There was some other Hollywood person came on and said it's part of her exercise routine. So no, I mean, what's really neat, Kathy's been doing on her abs, and we can now cook waffles on her abs. We just pour this in, just heats up. It's awesome.
Yeah, after being stuck in the house quarantined for so many days, I'm not
Don't
even
listen
showing
to her.
my
She's
abs.
working out every day. She's way more disciplined than I am. So,
All right.
But yeah, Emsculpt is fun. And all these things we're talking about when we do reopen, and we hope it's sooner rather than later. We certainly miss our clients and our staff. But you come and have a complimentary consultation, a body analysis. We have a machine here called the InBody that gives you your exact body fat percentage, hydration levels. We're very good with photography because we always want to show you what you look like before and after.
So one of the treatments I'm really excited about, and I'm just checking my phone here for questions as we go, is Emsella. And, I guess it's been over 2 years now that we launched Diva, which is a treatment for vaginal rejuvenation, just health of tissue. And, when we launched that treatment, a woman in my early 40s, I didn't realize there were so many issues that women had, as we're hitting menopause, or if it's post-cancer or post-childbirth, all of those things, until we really started looking into those technologies and treatments and doing demonstrations, and then bringing on that technology and hearing our clients come in and just, really, crying in our office. They're so happy with the results of that type of treatment because, whether it's they aren't peeing their pants anymore or they're having sex with their husband again, there's just so many beautiful things that have come out of that treatment. And so when Emsella came out, I thought this is going to be awesome because this is a treatment that, you can just stay in your clothes. And I think for women, we're put in those stirrups at such an early age. And I think it's like one of those things where I do not look forward to my yearly pat because of it. It's like whenever the stirrups come out, there's just like this little cringe that kind of happens. And so, when Emsella came out, I thought, wow, this is something that I think more of our clients are going to be prone to do and try because you can stay fully clothed.
And there's nothing invasive about it. It's amazing.
Yeah. So Emsella is a technology that's also built by BTL, which is the company that built Emsculpt to build muscle in the abs and the bum. And so with Emsella, they developed this device. It's actually just a chair. You literally just sit in a chair in your clothing, and it works the muscles of the pelvic floor. So just like we're working the muscles of the abs, we're working the bum, we're now working the arms as well and legs with Emsculpt. Now we can work out the entire pelvic floor. And so it's just been so amazing to see and to hear testimonies, not just from women, but also from men now, because before we weren't doing any of that. for women that suffer from mild to moderate incontinence, and then also just overall increase of sexual satisfaction.
Yeah, it really is amazing. What you said, I thought was true. You know, the Diva, which is considered the best vaginal rejuvenation device on the market, and we do that treatment here. It's just amazing for cancer survivors. You know, we had one woman who said she had not had sex with her husband in 3 years. It was too painful because after women have gone through chemo and radiation, there's a lot of issues, vaginal health that happen. And she had her 3 treatments of Diva and said her sex life was back to literally better than it ever was. And then all the issues, like I said, incontinence, painful intercourse, you know, lack of lubrication. But the Emsella, what's so unique about it, and the combination of Diva and Emsella, I think is probably the home run.
Definitely.
But for men as well, you know, the pelvic floor is part of our core, that muscle group here. And when we strengthen that, just good things happen. You know, there's, the Emsella is the only FDA cleared device for incontinence, for men and men urgency, women incontinence. And I didn't realize, you know, women after childbirth, almost all of them will have some level of incontinence at some point, whether it's when they're exercising or playing with their kids. We had an employee here who was very active playing tennis, and she had to wear pads when she played tennis. And after Emsella, that was taken care of. So it's
and not forever. I mean, they will come back in and do maintenance
just like
the ab muscles.
Yeah, we again recommend a series of 6 treatments to start, then maintenance. But for men, and this may sound a little bit graphic, but when men are young, they have more muscle in that area. When a man has an orgasm, that is a muscle that's contracting. As that weakens, it's just not as powerful. And this returns this. We had a really great testimonial of a husband and wife, and woman with 3 children, mid-50s, husband same age. She went through Diva and Emsella. He went through Emsella, and they wrote us a great testimony saying that their sex life is just put on steroids. Just loved it.
Well, one of our clients, I just love her so much. You know, I've told this story, and I've asked her if I could tell the story. And I'm not going to mention her name or anything, but she was walking around our annual party that we have in September.
Yes.
And, you know, we didn't ask her to talk about Emsella. She comes, and she's just such a great supporter of aesthetic care. And so I walk up to this group of people, and she's telling all these women this story. And so I just kind of jump into the conversation. And she says, you know, and I don't really know exactly what she's talking about. You know, she says, you know, when I was 20 years old, I just always had the tingle. And I was like, where are we going with this, you know? And she said, when I turned 30, you know, I would see my husband, and then there's the tingle. And I turned 40, and, you know, a week goes by, and I'm missing the tingle. And you turn 50, and it's like, where's the tingle? And she said, you know, I went through this series of 6 Emsella treatments, and it brought back my tingle. And I love that. I love it so much
good descriptive way.
Because and it makes sense because it's working the pelvic floor, it's building the muscles, and it's bringing blood flow.
Yes.
It's bringing, and it just kind of wakes everything up again. And so it's not just about mild incontinence for women, but it's also about increased sexual satisfaction. Yeah,
it's amazing. You know, about a year and a half ago, since we are doing so much more on the body, we actually opened a space within our space called Aesthetic Hair Body. To, you know, a lot of people come into a med spa, and Kathy and I we've worked with over 1,500 med spas across North America. What they think about is this. This is what I'm coming for. But I got to tell you, we can do so much head to toe. You know, we talked about BB on halo on the legs and the arms. And it's really fun that non-surgically now, you can do these things. You know, listen, a very good plastic surgeon with liposuction can be pretty amazing. And to be honest, though, there's a lot that are not amazing. They're not very good at it. And that can be just a home run. But a lot of people don't want anesthesia. They don't want surgery. They don't want downtime. So what we can do with fat, with CoolSculpting, with muscle, with Emsculpt and Emsella, all over the body, has really opened, you know, kind of a new segment of our business. And a lot of people who are coming in for things on their face now, you know, they're becoming aware of things they could do on the full body.
Definitely. So is there any type of, we just got a question from one of our listeners, our followers, is do we offer financing? How do they pay for this?
It's a good question. So anytime, you know, we present a program to you, because some of this stuff, to be honest, is expensive, is we will always offer you 3 ways to pay. You know, if you pay up front for a series, we are always going to give you a discount because we do want to incentivize you to do that and make it more affordable. Some people just pay as they go, the regular price. But there's a program from Green Sky Financing. Green Sky is a huge company owned by MasterCard. And if you've heard of Care Credit's probably more popular, but Green Sky is more beneficial as far as their interest. You can do 0 interest for 1 year. And it's weird. It's not like a monthly payment. Anytime during that year, you can pay it off, even if you paid the whole thing off on the last day. But
Which is great.
Yeah, there's 0 interest. So We always offer you that in the application process. Literally, they take a picture of your driver's license, fill out a few questions, and usually your approval is in 3 to 5 seconds. So yeah, we want to make it as convenient as possible.
Okay, awesome. It looks like those are all the questions that I have. Is there anything else that you want to?
Well, the only thing, a couple things about us being closed. Obviously, we certainly hope all of you are safe and sane, being locked in and stuff like that. But we do want to remind everybody, if you go to our website, we want to honor the frontline responders, the nurses, the doctors, the policemen, the firemen, that some of us, obviously, we're closed, our clinic, we're the only ones here today, and we're at home a lot. But you can go on and you can nominate somebody that somebody who you believe is going above and beyond during this crisis. And every week we're going to read through the nominations. We're going to pick somebody very deserving, and they're going to get a $250 treatment from us at no charge when we reopen. And some of our friends who own other businesses are pitching in too. Steve Bernstein is going to donate $500 gift cards to his jewelry, which is just amazing. Elisa Renee, who her clothing boutique, we love, and she's a wonderful person, is offering gift cards along. So we're getting other businesses to pitch in because, we know this is a hard time for everybody, and we would love to even be able to do more, but we just want to make sure we're recognizing the people out there who are just busting their tail to keep us safe.
Definitely.
But we really appreciate you all watching, and if you didn't watch live, maybe you can watch this archive.
I think we'll set up somewhere else next time. It looks like our Wi-Fi we've gone off a couple times during this, so sorry about that. We'll move locations for next time. Yeah.
But thank you for joining us. We do miss everybody. We hope we see everybody again soon, and we'll be back twice next week with just more fun talk about aesthetics or some educational stuff. So you all have a great day.